Leslie Salmon Jones and Jeff Jones. So Leslie is a professional dancer, also wellness coach, along with her husband, who's also a multi-instrumentalist and recording artist. They created Afro Yoga Flow, a movement which promotes healing, balance, peace, and the elevation of all humanity through the practices of yoga and dance and rhythms. And they also mix it with African diaspora as well. So please help me to welcome Leslie and Jeff.
Thank you. Thank you, Vito, for your introduction and also for your patience, because Vito has been asking us to do this presentation. And first, when we got the invitation, we were teaching in Jamaica last week, I think it was, to 500 people for a few days. So we couldn't do it then. And then we got on a plane and we couldn't do it then. And so around 6:45 tonight, we got it done. So here we, no, 7:30. We started it at 6:45. So that's the confession. So we're going to be kind of looking and seeing what we put down there. But we're grateful to be here. So thank you so much. All right. So our story begins in 1994 on the U.S. Air Shuttle. And I was dancing in New York, trained at Alvin Ailey, and I was invited to, do a gig in Boston. I got on U.S. Air Shuttle at 7 a.m., and I think we were at Cloud 9, and I looked to my right, and there was a handsome guy, and that would be Jeff.
By the time the plane landed, I had made my move. My sister was a flight attendant, and she had promised to introduce me to one of her flight attendant friends, but in turn, I found this beautiful woman that we've been married for 20 years now. Yeah.
Yes.
And we worked together. So we had a wonderful marriage in Toronto.
And we've been through a lot. You know, we've been through a death of parents, and we've been through all kinds of illnesses and all kinds of adversity. In fact, 20 years ago, we were here in Bali on our honeymoon.
And I'm wearing a shirt that I bought 20 years ago. It still survived.
Yes.
Meg recognized this shirt.
So it says a lot about our marriage as well. So we've been through a lot. This slide shows my parents. I grew up in Toronto. My parents are of Jamaican descent. My mother was Scottish, Irish, Jamaican. I came from a multicultural family. My mother was she is a retired civil rights activist, human rights activist. My father was a first black surgeon in Canada.
My folks go back in music quite a ways and in social services, social work. My father was a bass player for Billie Holiday, Sammy Davis Jr., Tom Jones, and a cast of others. My mother was a coloratura soprano. My grandmother was a mentor to Marian Anderson, Roland Hayes, and many others. And my great-grandmother was a social worker, born in 1862.
So when three of our parents passed away, we wanted to find out more about our ancestry. Jeff's family can trace back to an enslaved African.
Via the IRS, because slaves were taxed, like coffee.
So we went to Ghana. We went to the west coast of Africa, and we went to the slave castles. I don't know if anyone's been to the slave castles. That's where it's over 400 years, the dehumanization process of Africans who were enslaved went through the castles. So we went, and we were answering the prayers of our ancestors.
And here is the tree of forgetfulness. They had people go around until they forgot their roots. So this is all about roots and unity, and basically slavery was about disconnecting people from their roots and their heritage.
Another process, dehumanization process, was to have people go through something called the door of no return. So if you were taken, you were told in your mind you will never return to your homeland. So really for us to be there was answering the prayers of our ancestors. The water is really powerful there, and through the water, there was a lot of trauma. A lot of lives were lost. Millions of people were lost through the waters. We are the water. We're 80% water or more. The trauma, the memory carries to the water, but the water is powerful, and it shows in the children.
Yeah. Many slaves were, of course, thrown overboard, and they were also insurance casualties of sorts. But we met beautiful children who, unlike probably a lot of American kids, don't have that in their DNA of the dehumanization that many Americans and many Caribbeans have to go through. So a lot of the children, we'd find them kicking a can and being very happy, and I found some kids and I ended up buying them a soccer ball. And I'm not really much of a soccer player, so they gave me a good lesson.
There's an African proverb that says, a tree without roots will fall. So we know the importance of the tree and connecting to the roots, and this has been part of our mission, is to bring back the root system, to restore the roots. And we do that through music and dance. And
so on our trip, I bought a drum, thinking that I was going to use it, put a piece of glass on it, and it's a coffee table. I've been a musician for 40 years. People have been paying me to do that. So I started as a bongo player. My father's drummer gave me a set of bongos when I was 12. I had started with piano when I was 6, but then played bass when I was latter years.
So when we came back from Africa through prayer and meditation, a lot of deep healing, meeting with shaman healers, a lot of work to connect with the ancestors on a deeper level, through prayer and meditation, Afro-Flow yoga came through. Yoga's been in Africa for thousands of years. We've been doing healing circles. The circle, there's power in the circle. This is what unites us all. So we've been all over the world doing healing circles through music and dance, through Afro-Flow yoga.
This is a picture in Dubai that one of our teachers took when she had taken with the people. And this is connecting. We do a lot of children's programs for hospitals, schools, along with other high-end health and wellness places like Omega Institute. We were just in Costa Rica.
And so what we're finding is that when kids and people feel that connection of dance and music, these healing modalities, through the heart, connect to the roots, connect to the sky, we can spread the love through the waters, begin to restore the roots, and the roots are what attract the waters and attract one of us to each other. And here we are, Bali Spirit Festival. So we've come full circle, 20 years later, spreading the love. So we hope maybe we'll see you. We're going to be teaching, and we're grateful to be here.
Yeah, I think we have 3 more sessions, or yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's not on. Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much, Leslie and Jeff. Does anyone have a question? Yes. Martin. Castle of the Slave. Can I elaborate?
Oh, the slave castles.
It's also a fort. As you'll see, all those forts have big guns, lots of guns. So they were originally built by I think the
Portuguese.
Belgium and Portuguese were one of the first, and they were the most ruthless slave handlers. And then the British took them over, and I think the French were in there also. I think the British were actually the last.
The British, the French, the Spanish. It happened over 400 years. You can go there and find out the history. The methodology of slavery was basically people had PhDs to figure out how to dehumanize people. So basically the tree of forgetfulness, that's how you break an elephant, to have them circle around and around. So that's what helped break people. But what didn't break people was the rhythms and the dance. that's what remained. And that's the power of the healing.
Other question? I heard that you said you've been together for 20 years together, and you've been through...
Actually, 22 years.
22 years
Yeah.
together. So what's the secret? I know you're saying something about roots and stuff, but what's the real secret here? Like I'm 25, and then my generation, we don't commit for that long. So I want to learn from you, like, what's the secret?
Let's see what you have to say.
Make the right choice the first time. It's all about temperament and the connection with the temperament and being able to see if you are aligned with that. So temperament is everything.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I would say, we actually, when we met, we had both been on a fast and in prayer, just separately. So I was doing a lot of prayer for a beautiful person who actually had powerful roots, and not money. I'm talking about roots, and that was really important. And that's what Jeff. We're living in a house that's been in his family for over 100 years. So there's something about family, and it's like you can marry someone, but you're actually marrying thousands of people. It comes with community. So you have to enjoy the community that the person and the family, yeah.
Answers. I know it's been a really crazy day and crazy week as well, so thank you for being here and thank you for speaking to us. Thank you.